Welcome to session 2 of your anxiety management program. Anxiety affects people in 3 ways, and in this session we'll be looking at those 3 ways. They are the physical symptoms, psychological symptoms, and the behavioural symptoms. And I'm going to start by exploring the physical symptoms. You may experience heart racing, call it palpitations, dizziness or lightheadedness. Your legs may feel weak. Some people describe them as feeling like jelly. Your stomach might churn, and you may describe that as having butterflies in your stomach. And you may feel sick. You may experience shakiness, especially in your hands and your arms. And you may have tingling sensations. A dry mouth, difficulty in swallowing, and a feeling that there's a lump in your throat. You may feel hot and sweaty and flushed. And you may want to go to the toilet more than you usually do. Your muscles may feel tense, and your breathing may be rapid. And you may feel as though you have a tight band across your chest. Many people describe having a chest pain. And that is why they think at the time of anxiety that they're having a heart attack. The symptoms I've read out are the main physical symptoms of anxiety, and you may not experience all of them. And those that you do experience, some will be stronger than others. You may also experience other physical symptoms which I've not spoken about, but which relate to the main symptoms in the list. And it's well worth taking some time out now to think about what physical symptoms you get when you experience anxiety. Are you able to relate to the list I've read out to you, or do you want to add some more to it? It's just worth pressing the pause button and doing that now. Okay, we're on psychological symptoms now. Generally, these include what you feel when you feel anxious. And again, the list I'm going to read out are the main feelings and thoughts that people get when they're anxious, but you may want to add to that list. And again, you might be able to say, you know what, I think that, I feel that. So here we are then, the psychological symptoms. Feeling frightened and panicky. Thinking you might be losing your mind or going mad. Thinking you may be having a heart attack. And I mentioned that when I was reading out the list of how anxiety affects people, the physical symptoms, when I said about the tight band across the chest and the chest pain. Feeling that you are losing control. Worrying that you may faint or be sick, and that's particularly common if people think they're going to be sick or faint in public. And again, that makes the anxiety continue in its cycle, makes things worse. Thinking that there may be something wrong with your brain, for example, that you've got a tumour. Worrying that people are looking at you and thinking that you might be acting strangely. Often when we experience anxiety, we feel that we're transparent and people actually can read our thoughts and see that we are experiencing anxiety, the anxiety symptoms. And you might want to escape and get to a safe place. And again, you might be thinking, actually that's how I am in a supermarket. Sometimes I'll stand in a queue, I can feel the symptoms of anxiety building up, and all I want to do is just dump the trolley and run out of the building. Thinking that you might be having a stroke, making a fool of yourself by doing or saying something silly. You might not experience all these things, and one thought or fear might be particularly strong. Again, there might be a particular worry which is not included here, which is similar to the one that I've read out. Take some time again, press the pause button, and think if there's anything that you want to add to the list, anything else that you think about or feel about in terms of anxiety when you think about the psychological symptoms? Okay, so we're on to the last segment of the 3 ways in which anxiety affects people, and that's the behavioural symptoms. These include the things you might do when you are anxious. What you do will depend on the situation that you find particularly stressful, and here are some examples. Walking or going by taxi so that you can avoid going on a bus. Making an excuse to avoid going out or doing something. Only shopping when it is quiet, or doing your shopping in small shops. Crossing the street to avoid people. Rushing out of places or situations when feeling anxious, and I mentioned that when I talked about the supermarket queue. Going to the toilet to escape from things. Not saying anything when with other people. Using props when you go out, for example, having a drink or taking a tablet. You may avoid going out alone by always taking someone with you. Sitting near doors, at the end of the row, or as far back as possible. And again, this is only a list of examples, and it's some of the main things that people do when they're anxious. But you may be able to think of other things that you do, that are personal to you, that actually identify when you're feeling anxious. So it's worth taking some time again to push the pause button and write the things down that you might do when in an anxiety setting. Okay, however, you'll probably find that whatever it is you do, it comes down to either avoiding situations or wanting to escape them. So that's avoiding situations or wanting to escape them. I don't know how that resonates with you. Again, you might say, that's me. I want to run out of a building. I want to escape something. I find an excuse not to go out. Okay, so that ends session 2. Thanks for listening.